Now, you already know what SAT is made up of. Okay, so you know you don't have time. So for the reading part, you have 52 questions. You'll be given 5 passages, and you will have an hour, 5 minutes to answer 52 questions. For the second paper, which is the language and the writing test, you have 44 questions. You have 44 questions, and you'll be given 4 passages. Approximately, you have 11 questions per passage, and you have to answer those questions within 35 minutes. You already know what I'm just saying. I just want to do a recap. Now, yes, for the reading passages, now this is where you will get, or this is where they will get the passages from. That was why I sent you a file to read. You are going to read those passages before we go into reading. You are going to get one literary passage from American or international work of fiction, mostly American. Okay, now the reason is because SAT is College Board America, so you don't expect less. You're going to get another, so if you don't like reading novels, you better start reading American novels now. You don't need to read the full novels, but you can just go online and read articles about American history, American stories. Secondly, they're going to give you a passage from US founding documents, aka that's UN, US politics. For example, the Statue of Liberty, the American justice system, their human rights and freedom of speech. Go online, search for all these areas, all these topics, and read about them. Because you will not have time to read the passage the second time. That's for reading. One will actually start reading. I'll break that down for you. Now, passages on economics, psychology, sociology, physiology. You're going to get passages from these areas too. 2 passages from works of science. Yes, Isaac Newton, Michael Faraday. Start reading about the latest inventions, Microsoft, Steve Jobs, and everything, okay? Now, for reading, the nature of questions, they're going to ask you about information and ideas from the passage. Anyway, when we start reading, we're going to look at that. For writing, which we are going to start with today by looking at the grammar, punctuation marks, and other things, they'll give you questions where you have to edit some areas. For writing, you do not need to read the passage twice, because by the time you look at the questions, it's just to correct the grammatical errors. Now, one passage from writing modes, anyway, they'll give you topics from science, humanities, history. For example, the invention of violin. Who invented violin? They'll give you something like that. Who invented perhaps anything to invent? And just who invented something, maybe the computer. They'll give you passages like that. Yes, now they'll ask you questions from 2 areas. Expression of idea. They'll give you a structure and they'll ask you to, I think we call it parallelism. They'll ask you to rearrange, or you will look for the option that will rearrange the structure and you pick the best option, okay? You are going to fix punctuation errors, grammar errors, and sometimes punctuation marks. So for the writing, you have 4 passages, 35 minutes, 11 questions per passage, and 44 questions in total. So today, we are going to look at punctuation marks, the rules of concord, tenses, present, past, and future, then parallelism, how you restructure words. I know deep down you are going to say, well, these things are easy. Come on, why is this man trying to take me through all this? But you are going to find out very soon if they are quite easy. Now, I want you to tell me the difference between this. Are you still there, Mikhail?
Yeah, I'm still.
Yeah, I believe you can see my screen. Let me make it all on blue.
Yes, I can see it.
So, can you tell me the difference between these two? Let me centralize.
The first one, its apostrophe s, is like it is,
Okay.
and the second one is it's.
And what does the other one mean?
It's like it's for him.
Possession. It shows that something belongs, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now, what about this? A lot. A lot. What is wrong with these two?
I don't know the difference, but I know the meaning of it. I know the meaning of the first one.
Okay. The first one. Go
Well,
ahead.
It's two different words.
Okay.
And it's like a lot of stuff.
Good. Now, what about this one?
I don't know.
Good. Most times people bring these words together, but they are not actually together. Okay? So,
Okay.
There's another one. Herewith. Is it one word or two words? Herewith.
Two words.
Two words, right?
Yes.
Good. Unfortunately, it's one word. You see why we just have to look at the grammar before we actually start, okay? And there are many more. You find everything. Everything is one word. Everything is also two words. So you have to know the one you are actually going to pick. So which one should we start with? Punctuation marks, because punctuation marks are actually very key. If you look at some of these questions, you think you know it all, but when they ask you some questions, anyway, when we start, okay, I think I just spotted one. Good. Can you see number 4? Can you see number 4?
Yes, but I can't see
Good.
number 4 on the passage. I can't see the question.
No. Yes, very correct. That's what I want you to say. Now, if you look at number 4, you don't need to look at the passage. You don't need to look at the passage completely. Okay, let me just show you the passage. I hope it's not that far. Okay, good. This is a punctuation mark question. Do you agree? Can you see the passage now? It says,
yes, I can.
Okay, circadian rhythms, which are controlled by the body's biological clocks. Now, when you read the passage, you are going to find out if the rhythm is one person or it's a plural. Now, if it's a plural, I say, which are controlled by the body's biological clocks. So, if you look, let's say this is a body, which of the options here do you think it's appropriate? Let me bold.
I think option C.
Good. Option C, because there is a comma here, okay? So as long as there's a comma here, it cannot show possession. It cannot show that something belongs to you. If you want to say something belongs to you, if you say Mikhail's bag, if there is a comma here, it cannot, it's wrong. Do you agree?
Yes.
So we are going to learn all that now. So we are going to rush punctuation marks. When I say rush, I know you know most of them. So let me start juggling between the two. Sorry, I'm going to be fast because when is the exam again? When is your exam? May what? Hello, Mikhail.
Yeah, I'm here.
I said, when is your exam? When are you taking the exam again?
May 7th.
Did you say May 7th?
Yes.
Oh boy. Oh boy, that means we have to be fast. Okay, now, full stop. What is it used for?
For a pause in
it's not a pause. It's not a pause. You use commas to pause.
A stop.
Yes, to separate sentences in a paragraph. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Just please, like I said, if you miss out on the functions, definitely, when you see questions like this, you start guessing. My advice, during the exam, don't leave any question unanswered. Just guess, okay? If you know you're running out of time. Okay, now, is that the only function of full stop?
I think so.
No. That's where I come in. No. Number one, you use it for honorifics. When you say Dr., Mr., Engineer, now listen to me. Also, you can choose not to. You can choose not to use them for honorifics. Do you get my point? You use full stop for also currencies. So give me an example, please, for currencies.
Naira, dollars.
Good, 4 points. Did you get that?
Yes.
Do you get that? Because I want to really open your eyes on how to use punctuation marks. You also use them for websites and email addresses. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So just make sure you know all the functions. Let's go to the second one. The one you think, question mark. Question mark. What do you use it for? Make me proud. Let's be fast.
For asking a question or a quotation.
Quotation? Asking a question.
Yeah, asking a question.
I agree. Like, who are you? Is that the only function of question marks?
I think so.
Good. I'm glad you used the word think. So what if I do this? Just watch. Can you explain? Just try. Just say something.
I think that's saying James Brown. They're not like sure. They're not sure if it's 1920.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's what I want to hear. It's not just to ask questions. Question marks can also be used to show doubt, to show that you are not sure. Am I clear?
Yes.
So these are the things you need to take away from here. Good. Comma. What do you use comma for? To pause, right?
Pause.
So to pause what? To pause in a sentence. I came. I saw. I changed my mind. Now, what else? Is this the only?
For listing.
Thank you. To separate items. Let's put it so that you know. To separate items in a list. For example, rice, beans. I need to explain something to you. Right, beans, melon, right? Now, just listen to this. Can you use comma before and? Can you use comma? Why do you say
after and?
Okay, you can use it after and.
Yes.
Like this.
Yes.
Hold on, hold on. Is this what you're trying to tell me? Is this something like this?
Yes.
Look harder. Is it before or after the and?
I think it's before.
You are not sure,
right? Sure.
You are not sure.
Yes.
Now, if you leave it this way, it's very correct. But if you are going to place the comma before the and, it's actually before the and. Let me show you something. I hope I can find one of the questions like this here. I hope I can find one of the questions like this here where you find the and. Okay, since it's not there, I'm not going to waste your time. You use, if you want to add a comma before the and, Just listen carefully. Make sure you have two independent clauses. It simply means if you remove the and the question and the comma, you can have two complete sentences. That's the only time you can use comma before the and. Does this sound vague to you?
Yes.
Okay. You know clauses, independent clauses, right? Do you know what a clause is? You know what a clause is?
Yes.
Okay, what is a clause?
I think it's like a statement.
No? Okay, a statement. Okay, watch. Is this an example of a clause?
Yes, I think so.
No, actually, this is not a clause. This is a phrase. This is a phrase. You see, that's why we have to go deep down with the grammar thing. This is a phrase. So a clause is a group of words that must contain a subject and a verb. Now, if you look at this, is there a verb in the sentence, a candidate in the examination hall?
No.
Good. So that makes it a phrase. Now, what I'm trying to explain to you here using the comma is that this is a clause. Do you agree? The one I just underlined.
Yes, that's a clause.
Because?
It has a verb and a subject.
Thank you very much. And what is the subject?
She.
What is the verb?
Him.
Perfect. So thank you, you understand that now. Now, what I'm trying to say, if you want to use comma before the and, make sure that if you remove the comma and the and, the two can form separate sentences on their own. That is the only time you can use this. Okay? I think it's actually after the and. Yeah. It's getting me confused now. It's getting me confused. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's look it up again. I don't want to get the rules changes. Okay. So comma before and. Yeah, it's before the and, so I was pretty much right the first time. Okay, so this is the only time. So you use commas to separate items in a list. Now, I want to give you one tough one now. This is semicolon. In Igbo, you call it bom recom. I've actually noticed that in the Igbo class. Now, do you know what this is used for?
I think it's like a comma, but it's like a comma and a colon because it adds extra information like a sentence. For example, like he's a boy, semicolon.
Hold on. He is a boy.
Semicolon,
that is tall. Are you trying? Okay, what if I do this? He is a boy that is tall. So semicolon actually, let me show you what it's used for here. Semicolon. Good. Semicolon actually separates two parts of a sentence. Now, if you go back to what we did here, the first one where we said she came back. Okay. So semicolon, you separate two parts of a sentence. It can actually be used as a conjunction. But once you remove the semicolon, you must have two independent clauses. That's why I said it can be used as a conjunction. Now, if you take a look at this, I spoke to Mr. Sheung. I think the Sheung you have. Yeah. I spoke to Mr. Sheung. He won't be coming to the gym today. Now, if you remove this, you can have two sentences. Do you agree?
Yes.
So semicolon does that. You use it to separate two parts of a sentence. Okay? The reason I'm not showing you these slides is just to make sure, just to find out if you actually know. You can see I have them all here. You use semicolon to show doubt. It means you're not sure. Exclamation mark. Good. Exclamation mark. Okay. Exclamation mark. Can you tell me what it's used for? Because you will definitely see this in the SAT exam. I didn't know you're writing May 7th. Now, are you actually, will you resume school before the
Yes,
exam?
I will.
You will resume.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, we are going to have our own private arrangements, okay?
Okay.
Even after you have your classes with the SAT teacher, if you need me around, just let me know. We just do some little brush up, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if you like it. Now, exclamation marks. Let's shoot.
Like something to show something that is loud. Something.
Sound. Hold on. Sound. What else? Is that all?
Yeah.
No, that's not all. You can also use
So,
it to show emotions. Yeah, emotions. Yeah. Your emotions could be it's like you're shocked when you say, wow, right?
oh, when you're furious, when you're angry.
When you are, thank you very much. When you are
Yeah.
angry, that's part of the emotions. Now, let's look at sound. Now, look at this sound. You guys will definitely, you will do it today. Look at this. Does it make sense?
Yes.
That is both sound and emotions. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
You can also use exclamation mark to give command when you say, get out. Okay, so just know them. It can be used to show, exclamation marks are used to show emotions. They are used to give commands. They are also used to indicate a loud sound. For example, boom, right? Now,
Yeah.
so let's go back to, yeah. So emotions, command. Now, look at this. She's so sad. You use that exclamation mark to just show the emotions. This is what you will do today. Definitely, we have the Champions League match between Chelsea and Real Madrid later this evening. So you might definitely do this, okay? You might do it. Indicate a loud sound, show emotions, okay? Now, what about this one? I think this one is pretty much easy. Apostrophe. Apostrophe. Let's go. Let me see if I can, yeah, let me carve out. Yeah, that's it. Actually facing the other way. Okay. I believe you can see my screen. How do you use this?
So like contractions.
Very good. Contractions, I agree. What else?
Ownership.
Possession, ownership. Thank you very much. Now, this is where we have to dig deep. Now, for example, if you say Michael's bag, okay, let me say Michael's bag. If you want to show ownership, what do you do?
Apostrophe S.
Apostrophe S. Coming now. If I want to say Moses' bag, so what do I do?
Moses apostrophe.
That's all?
Yes.
Good. Very correct. That's just what I wanted to make sure you know. So you can also use, just like you said, contractions. In the 80s, in the 90s, you use this to remove the 1990. He was born in the 90s. You know, this is how you write it. Let me paint it in red. In the 90s, it simply means between 1990 and 1999. Okay? So you just removed the 19. To show possession, that something belongs to you, Moses, you're very correct there. Sorry. Carrot, you don't need a carrot. Good. Hyphen. hyphen. Now, we know we have two. We have the short one and we have the very long one, right? Though this one is a bit down. Let me see if I can take it up. Okay, good. So which one is the hyphen, please? The long or the short one?
The long one.
No. The long one is what we are going to discuss after the hyphen. The hyphen is the short one. Now, if you go back to these questions, I hope I'll find one. Why are all these punctuation marks evading me today? Punctuation marks questions. Anyway, by the time we keep working, you'll find out some punctuation marks. Now, if you come here, if you look at 14, you can see we have semicolon, we have colon, right? And we have comma. So that's why we actually want to discuss punctuation marks so that you don't lose any marks. Okay, I will discuss colon after this one. Or let's go back and discuss colon just after semicolon. So good. So let's discuss colon. Exactly, this is it. You use colon to actually do something. Tell me. You use colon
to start a list.
Perfect. To introduce a list. For example, if you say you need the following to prepare a goosey soup. What comes next?
Colon.
Good. Then let's start. Prepare. What comes next?
A comma.
Perfect. Comma. Right? So you know what colons are used for. You also use colons to like introduce, to add a kind of information. Let me just treat that. Let me treat colon now. Now you use colon to introduce a list in a sentence. It shows you want to say something. Now you can also use colon to introduce a quotation. Now, if you remember, if you read drama text, let me say Romeo, you want to say something. Don't you normally see the colon? Did you see what I just did?
Yes.
Let me use Mercutio. Now, so you use colon here to introduce a quotation. You want to say something, okay? So just note that. So let's go back to hyphen. Hyphen is the short one, and hyphens are used for compound words. And you know what compound words are? Give me an example, please. You know what compound words are?
I do, but I don't know any example.
Okay, let me give you an example. Mikhail is wearing a blue, black jean trousers. Now, tell me what. So, yeah, blue is a separate noun, black is a separate noun. But because the noun contains both colors and you want to bring them as one, right? You use hyphen, right? Blue, black. Or let's use the normal one that you know, navy blue. Does it make sense?
Yes. So
let's look for the, I think it's hyphen. Let's look for other examples. Good. Blue, black, lockdown. I think you can't forget this one. Over the counter. Now, hyphen, okay, it's the same thing. Heartbreaker. We call this kennings anyway. Home wrecker, husband snatcher. Do you remember this guy? You've seen the movie Game of Thrones. Yeah, you've seen the movie Game of Thrones.
Yeah, before.
Yeah. Now you see, these are two different words. A king, a slayer. Now you can use hyphens to actually form your own words. So king, slayer, right? So just note that. You can also, you don't need this one for SAT anyway. You don't need this particular one for SAT. Now, this is the other one, the dash. Okay, we are not going to do anything about the M dash or the N dash. We're just going to discuss what the dash is used for. Okay.
Okay, so
okay. For the dash, I say the dash is longer. I don't know how to bring. I don't know how to bring. I don't know how to bring. Okay, let me see if I can import this. Let me import this here. Good. Oh, it's still not working. Anyway, but let's use this one then. The dash, you can see it's longer, right? Now, the
yes.
dash simply used to add extra information. Used to add extra information. Okay, so when you say James, born in 1999. Okay, so you use the dash to provide extra information, like Jamie Lannister, the Kingslayer. You see, the dash is providing you information about the Kingslayer. That's Jamie Lannister. You can see the dash here, providing you more information. You can also use dash to do something. Two, I know you see these things, but you actually don't know. You just think it's something. Let me give you an example. Let me see if you. Have you seen something like this before? You see, automatically, the computer changes this thing to a long one. So what does this one actually mean?
He's adding more information. He's specifically talking about where exactly in Lekki.
No, the first function of dash is to provide extra information, like this one. I now said that the second function is to. Dash also means TO, to. And I give you an example here. Lekki dash Epe Expressway. What does that mean?
Adding more information about Lekki.
No. The second meaning of the second usage of dash is to replace this word to, TO. So if you find the dash here, what does this dash mean?
Like, okay. So
perfect.
Where, I don't know how to explain
yes,
it, but
okay. I think I actually gave you an incomplete definition. The TO is actually to show direction. Did you see that?
Yes.
Good. So dash can also be used to represent TO, to show direction. So Lekki to Ekpe. Do you get that?
Yes.
I don't know. Do you guys travel by road to your village?
We did it the last time.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you noticed something like this. Did you see anything like this on the road, Bini? Or
I was sleeping. I was not looking out.
okay. It simply means, sorry. It simply means what do they call it? This is the direction, Bini to Ore. Okay, don't worry, we're almost winding down now. I just want to cover all the possible punctuation marks so that you don't lose any precious mark, comma, quotation marks. Okay. This one, let's discuss quotation marks then. Quotation marks. You can call them inverted commas. Okay. Now, I just want to explain one thing so that we can move on to grammar. Quotation marks, you know it's used for quotations, but how do you use them? Now, watch this. And God said, let there be light. This one will definitely come out because they know it's very technical. They know it's very technical. Now, can you see the quotation, what I just did? And I want you to notice how I placed the quotation marks. Now, and God said, is that part of the quotation marks? Is that part of the quote?
No.
Good. So by the time but when you want to say, when you want to quote, make sure you quote exactly what the person said. And once you begin quoting, the first letter must be what?
Capital letter.
Note that. If you are going to add any other punctuation mark, you must add it inside. What must end it must be the close, quotation mark close. For example, if you say, who are you? Whatever quotation mark or whatever punctuation mark you want to use must be inside. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So sometimes I do see people make mistakes like this. John refused. Then I'll do something like this. This is wrong, okay? This is very wrong. So this full stop must be inside. Am I clear? Whatever quotation mark you want to use, it must be inside. Now, I said, and God said, let there be light. Your quotation mark, it must begin with a quotation mark and it must end with a quotation mark. The first letter must be a capital letter. Now, I used a comma here to separate the quotation from the description. Now, why did I use Jesus said and I used a column? Let me see if you still remember. Why did I use introduction of what the person wants to say? So both of them are correct, okay? Hello? Both of them are correct.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
yes,
so you can either use this or you use this to just separate. Now, I think we've had enough of the punctuation marks. Is there any punctuation mark you think I did not discuss? Is there any? Good, okay. You don't need all these ones. So I'm going to close this. Now, let's rush grammar Concord because this is, when they ask you questions about how to use your grammar, you can see this is a rule where was, can you see question 15?
Yes, I can.
Now, let's see if we can go to the passage and see if we can get the questions, because I want you to get 44 over 44 in the writing part, okay? I want you to get 44 over 44. I know you are not prepared for reading. That is why I sent you that file. So once you start reading, you start having an idea of the kinds of passages you are going to expect. The thing about SAT is that you are going to read the passage once, or you are going to read all the passages once. Why would you read all the passages once? Because you don't have time. Thank you very much. Now, the best way to conquer that is to expect the kind of passage that you will meet on that day. So once you look at the passage, it's talking about science, you have already fine-tuned your mind what to expect. Okay? So look at 15. It says, these Harvey houses, which constituted the first restaurant chain in the United States, was unique for its high standards. Now, look at this grammar is wrong. That's what they're saying. These houses, is it more than one or two?
More than is two.
It's plural, right? Now, it's saying was unique. So what do you think the answer would be like? 15.
Were unique.
So which option, please?
Were unique for their.
So the option is B, right?
Yes.
You see, that's why I said in the writing, you do not even need to read the passage. Am I clear? You just look at the question, go there and correct your grammar. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. So let's go back to Okay, the grammar. We're going to study some grammar rules, essential grammar rules. Those grammar rules that you think do not make sense, because you will need them to do very well in your SAT writing question. So let's start. I'm not going to waste your time. The first rule, let me first of all establish something. Is this singular or plural?
Plural.
Plural. Good. Thank you very much. Is this singular or plural?
Singular.
Perfect. So in verbs, okay, when dealing with verbs, anywhere you find S or ES, it's a singular verb. But in nouns, anywhere you find S or ES, most times it's plural, right?
Yes.
Now that we have established that fact, let's start moving. Rule number one. Rule number one. Where is it? Okay, rule number one. A singular subject must follow a singular verb. If you're talking about one person, the verb must be in singular form. Do you agree? It's
Yes.
a rule. You have to cram the rules. Eze goes to school. If you say Eze go to school, tell me why this statement is wrong, or rather is ungrammatical.
It does not sound, because it has to be a singular verb followed by a singular subject.
Yeah, you wanted to say it does not sound right. I'm going to give you some words, some sentences that you think do not sound right, but they are correct. Let me help you with one. I want you to correct this for me. All the faiths he had had. Now, look at this sentence. Is there anything wrong with it?
Yes.
What is wrong with it?
Repetition of had.
Actually, so if you want to remove, how many will you remove?
3.
You remove what? 3.
Yes.
Yeah. But let me bust your bubble. This is actually correct. This is what we call past perfect. It doesn't make sense to you, right? This is what we call past perfect. I think I need to include here tenses. Where is, there was a place I listed your challenges. Where is it? Okay, anyway, here. I need to include tenses because you need to know the tenses. So I believe we can go back. So this makes sense. Okay, so go is a verb. Is it singular or plural?
Plural.
Thank you. And is singular or plural?
Singular.
So you see here, a singular verb and a plural, a singular noun and a plural verb, they cannot go. So it has to be goes, okay? Now, but if you are using I or you do not need to follow this rule. You cannot say I goes to church every day. Or you cannot say you comes here every day. Do you see what I'm, did you get that? Now these are wrong. So let me just make, give it a red font color. You cannot say I goes to church, but I is one person, right? Michael, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Don't worry. I'm wrapping up now so that I can send you some materials to practice, because from tomorrow we will deal with the writing task, the writing test, and we'll make sure we answer everything. And that should give you enough time to read the materials I sent to you on reading, okay? So that you will expect the kind of passages. So once you look at the passage, oh, they're talking about sports. You know what to expect. Okay. You cannot say I goes to church, but we said that Eze goes to school. Eze is one. Why can't I go with, why can't I go with goes?
Because I is a pronoun.
No. What if I do this? He goes to school every day. He goes to school. He is also a pronoun. It's just the rule. It's just the rule. So note that every rule has exceptions. Okay. So when you say I or you go with plural verbs. So you say I like him, not I likes him. Am I clear? Of course, these are things you already know. Plural subject will go with plural verbs. Jack and Jill sing very well. So I cannot write sings here, right?
Yes.
Good. So it's sing because it's plural. I'm trying to speed up now. Good. Now we want to start looking at those areas that like eating rice. Now look at this. This is a rule. Like I said, I'm recording this, so I'll actually convert and send a video to you so that you can watch, make notes. Anytime you use words such as accompany, with, along with, okay, and also together, when you say together with, you use a singular verb. Now look at this. The plural subjects will now go with the singular verb when you use all these words: accompany, with, along with, together with. Now look at this. The king, along with his wife and children, is here for the coronation. Does it make sense?
No.
But actually it makes sense because I said anytime you use along with. Now, if you want to rephrase it, now let me rephrase it now. If I say the king is here along with his wife and children for the coronation, does this one make sense?
Yes.
You see, it makes sense. So what you do, once this is the king, the main subject is the king, and the king is one. Once you find along with, together with, please take this particular one seriously because they know this is confusing. Okay, they know this is confusing. So once you find accompanying with, even when you use with, the king with his wife, okay, is here for the coronation. Okay, along with, together with, accompanied by, the king accompanied by his wife and children is here for the coronation, not are here, because the main subject is the king. Okay, so it is high time. I know you hear that English every time, right?
Yeah.
It is high time we do this. Now, anytime you use it is time or it is high time, the verb must be in the past. So if you say it is high time I call my father, it is very wrong. The correct expression is it is high time I called my father. Does it make sense? Like yes. I said, these are rules. It is high time we reported the bullying case to the principal. So if you say it is high time we report the bullying case to the principal, you can see that this one actually sounds nice, right? But the real or the correct grammar is it is high time we report it. So take note of that. There are very many rules. I'm just going to wrap up, okay? I'm just going to wrap up all the rules because I know you are getting tired. Now, for time, seconds, minutes, days, use singular. 4 weeks is enough for the police to conclude their investigation. You cannot say 4 weeks are enough. Okay? 2 days is quite a very long time. Not 2 days are quite a very long time. The same thing with currencies and weights. You use singular. $50 million has been put aside for the campaign, not $50 million have been. No, it has. Pounds is hard to sell at the black market, not pounds are hard to sell at the black market. Take note of that. Rule 6. Talk to me.
No, I will just say that you're just noting that down.
Yeah, because actually, when I send you the video, when you watch for the second time, you can actually just make further notes. Now, look at this. You've heard of a gang of robbers, a team of footballers. Am I clear?
Yes.
Now, when you do that, all those collocations are what, when you say a group of, a gang of, a school of, the verb must be in the singular. But before we do that, let's do this. Stadiums, is stadiums correct?
Yes. No.
Very correct. Huh? Did you say no? So okay, the correct one is stadium, right?
Stadium.
Okay.
No, I think stadium is correct.
See.
But I think it's the two stadium. No S.
Oh, the two stadium? No, now. Stadium is one. Okay? Stadium is one. Stadiums. Yeah, if you want to make it plural, just like medium and media. So stadiums is very correct. Stadia is also very correct. So take note. The same thing, staff is very correct. Staffs is also very correct. Okay? So this is just a kind of aside. So let me not let this kind of distract you. Let me make this quite invisible. Good. Now, I'm saying, when you talk about a group of something, a group of robbers, the verb must be in the singular. So when you say a group of lions, which verb would you use there?
A group of lions.
Yes.
Collective verb.
Yeah, so which verb would just complete the sentence and use the appropriate verb?
Where?
Which of them?
Okay.
Out of these two?
Is.
Perfect. Is. Anytime you see anything about group, just use a singular verb. Now, this is an example. A pride of lions is approaching. You know, when people say a pride of lions are approaching, it still sounds nice to the ears, but is grammatically wrong. So a pride of lions is approaching because you are referring to one group. A convocation of eagles is perching on the rock. Okay? A school of dolphins swims to the shore every day. Okay? Don't worry, I'm going to cover this now. This particular rule 7 is quite tricky. Anytime you use the word wish followed by a subject, okay, the verb must be plural and must be in the past. I will explain with the example. I wish John were here to celebrate with me. Does it make sense?
No.
I wish John, not I wish John was here. I said rule 7. Anytime you use wish plus one subject, the verb must be in the plural and the verb must also be in the past tense. Tricky, right? I wish, I will explain to you. I wish, if you say, I wish John was here, it is wrong, according to this rule. But if you say, I wish John were here to celebrate with me, it's very correct. Now, look at this one too. It's getting crazy, right? I wish I were his father. You hear me?
It sounds okay.
This one sounds okay. Perfect. Now, I wish I were his father. The person cannot be your father. You are only wishing. So when you use wish plus a singular subject, the verb must be in the plural and it must be in the past. This is a rule, the wish subject rule. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's go more crazy. Let's get more, let me take you to more confusing part. When you use the word recommend plus a subject, you use a plural verb. Present then. I recommend John leave the house, not I recommend John leaves the house. Do you get that? I recommend John leave the house. I recommend you give him his money. Okay, this one is quite clear. But you say, I recommend John leave the house, not I recommend John leaves the house. When you use recommend plus a subject, your verb must be in the plural form. The same thing with pray, demand, suggest. For example, I pray Emeka passes exams, not I pray Emeka passes his exams. Okay? Yeah, let's keep moving. I'll have to skip because when you use the words would rather plus a pronoun or any other subject, use past. The example will make it clearer. I would rather you cooked the dinner now. Does it make sense? I would rather
No,
you.
it does not. Correct.
It does not make. Is it correct?
I think so.
Yes. I would rather you cooked the dinner now. This is the rule. It makes sense because you have to follow this rule. When you use would rather plus any pronoun or any subject, the verb must be in the past. I would rather you cooked the dinner now. But look at this one. I would rather plus verb. This, you're not using a subject now. You know, here you're saying I would rather, then this is a subject, right? Now, here you're saying I would rather, then you use a verb. The verb must be in the present. For example, I would rather cook the dinner now. Do you see the difference? I would rather you cooked the dinner now. The difference is in the subject. If you remove the subject, you will have this. I would rather cook the dinner now. Take notes. A number of, okay, this one is now, when you use a number, plural nouns, okay, this one is quite straightforward. A number of students have left the camp. That one is quite straight. The number of, okay, you use a singular verb. The number of children going to school is decreasing. The number of students, because you're actually referring to those days, the number, you are referring to the number. The number of children going to school is decreasing. Does it make sense? Don't worry, yes, I'm wrapping up now so that you can actually grasp everything we've done. One of, if you pick a plural noun, like one of the mangoes is bad, okay? When you use one of, then you use a plural noun, use a singular verb. For example, one of my friends has traveled to the United States. Can you change this to have? If you change it to have, does it make sense? Did you say no or yes?
It will make sense.
It does not make sense, though it sounds nice to be pleasant to the ears, but you are referring to only one. A singular subject must follow a singular verb. Have you forgotten the answer? You are not referring to the friends. You are referring to just one of them. Just one of them. So you change this to has. One of the vice presidents acts in an interim capacity. So one of. You have to take note. That's the reason I usually record my lessons so that I can actually send to my students so that they can watch and do a recap. Okay. So if you use one of, Despite the plural noun, the verb must be in the singular. Okay. Finally, when you use many a or many an plus a singular noun, you use a singular subject. Okay, I think it's the same thing as singular subject, singular noun. So, Mikel, we will call it a day. Okay, I'm going to convert this video and send it to you. I'll send a link to you for you to watch so that you can actually grasp, watch again and take notes of the punctuation marks and the grammar so that we can actually start the writing task tomorrow. Okay?